What's going on, everybody? It is the very first edition of the Sooners Illustrated Game Preview Show. Josh Callaway, James D. Jackson, Tom Green. Episode week 1. Guess you can put it that way. We have made it. It is game week. We have an actual game coming up tomorrow night at the stadium. Number 16 Oklahoma hosts Temple. It's a 6 p.m. kick at the stadium. It's going to be on ESPN. It feels amazing that we have an actual game. Yeah, I mean, guys, to get some quick hitter things out here. So obviously this is brand new. We didn't do this last year, the game preview. We're going to just kind of run through for about 10, 15 minutes or so, kind of what we're watching for. We're going to have keys to game, players to watch. We'll pick the game, but it just feels good to actually have a game to talk about, guys, as the season is here. We're going to be at the stadium tomorrow night. What can you say? It feels good. First game of the year, finally here.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a long wait, not just this offseason, but I know people have been waiting a few years now for this move to the SEC, and it's finally here. For me, kind of a reintroduction to the SEC after a year away in the Big 12. Right. So I'm excited. It's going to be a fun season.
I feel like just doing this podcast, I feel like it's accelerated at least the last month and a half or so. Like, it's just like the season's just been getting here just closer and closer. Like, each time it's like, wow, yeah, we're right here. So it's finally here for real. Like, this is serious. We're serious business now. So let's go ahead and do it.
Absolutely. Feels really good. So for this ball game, obviously, I think most people are aware, but Temple is not expected to be very good, to say the least. Temple was picked dead last in the preseason All AAC conference poll. They have one guy on the All AAC preseason teams. Oklahoma is a huge 40-plus point favorite in this game. So it's going to be an interesting kind of first little game here for Oklahoma, just to kind of take care of business and move on. So on that note, let's go ahead and get into our keys to the game for Friday night, Oklahoma and Temple. Tom, I'll let you kick it off for us. What is the key or thing you're going to be watching for that Oklahoma needs to get done and you think is going to be important for this game on Friday?
Remember to show up at the stadium on Friday instead of Saturday.
Yes.
No, I mean, like, in all seriousness, look, Oklahoma is going to overwhelm Temple.
Yes.
I think for Oklahoma, this game is more almost like a self-scout in essence. For the last month, they've been going, good on good against each other in practice, day in, day out. Now is going to be an opportunity to face someone else and kind of work out some of those kinks, especially, see how that offensive line can work out, working some of these new players. But, I mean, really, like, Oklahoma just needs to make sure it shows up and handles its business. And that's really the key to this one.
Yeah. I mean, anytime you play, a worser opponent, it's always starting fast. Just getting it out the way early and don't let them build any momentum, anything like that. So you have to stress a little bit. And I think OU is going to do that. I mean, we've seen it last year against Arkansas State, and you looked at that score and what happened there. It's kind of the same situation here with the Owls here. So just be on them early. Get everything done, get your business out of the way, and then you can kind of work on the things you need to work on that you couldn't do necessarily against each other back in scrimmages and things like that at practice.
With you guys both completely on that same kind of note, when you're a big favorite, my key would just be health. Just get out of this thing healthy. There's a few guys kind of banged up. We just found out earlier today or yesterday on the Brent Venables teleconference that Nick Anderson's going to be held out. I think that's smart. Don't push anyone. If they're not ready to go, hold them back. I know there's a lot of guys are chomping at the bit to get out there and play. Antsy, you want to build some chemistry up with everyone, but this isn't the time to do it. It's a long season. I think health is a key element. He said Angelo Anthony is going to, be available. I would, if he's 100%, you could turn him loose, but, maybe tread a little lightly there. Don't overextend him. Offensive line, kind of the same thing. I know they really want to build up that chemistry. I know that that's important. We talked about it a lot, this runway at the beginning of the season. But at the same time, if any of those guys are a little nicked up, I wouldn't push it. I just simply wouldn't. The season is too long, and you have a couple more games here in non-conference before you get into SEC play. And obviously, again, you want to just get through this game healthy. It would really be, injuries are never fun at any time of the year, but especially in a game like this where you're likely going to win by a big number. Yep. You just don't need somebody going down you're going to need later. So health is a big key for me. Get in and out of this thing as healthy as possible. Players to watch. This could be any kind of direction. Again, as far as the season goes on, it's a living organism. So Can be a guy you think needs to play well to win the game. Probably not the case in this one, but just a guy you're watching for any in particular reason. James, we'll let you start on this one for player to watch for you on Friday night.
I mean, this is an easy one, especially starting this off for us. I mean, it's Jackson Arnold. I mean, just keeping the ball in the OU's hands. I mean, that's what he's been hearing about that all off season. Like, is he going to be a turnover guy? If he comes out here and does what he needs to do it could change a lot of the narrative about him. It can make the OU offense look even a lot better than what people think they could be. And so that's the biggest thing. The player to watch here is for Jackson Arnold. Do you want more than one? I can give you another one, but I'll let you
do one. We can throw some honorable mentions in. We'll each do one.
Yeah, go ahead. But yeah, Jackson Arnold's the guy because I mean, as I said, just the whole offseason, that's gotta get under your skin a little bit if you're Jackson Arnold. Like I can be better than what I showed there. I mean, so now you get the chance to do it.
100% with you. That's a great pick. I'm gonna stick on the offense. I'm gonna go Bauer Sharp. Tom, I tried not to take what I thought you were gonna take, and I ended up taking you're gonna take anyway. But I'll roll with Bauer Sharp. This is a guy that has come in to revolutionize the tight end room after it was not really a factor last season. We didn't really see it in the spring game. I know he didn't. The tight ends weren't really utilized much at all in the past game, at least in the spring game. But all we heard all spring, all summer, and now certainly all fall is that this guy has come in and just been a machine. And, I mean, he was named a captain this week for his first game at Oklahoma, which is a big statement in of itself. This guy has come in expected to be a big force and a big part of this offense, and we really haven't seen him, play really at all or do much, obviously, in the limited time that we've seen at practice, spring game, things like that. So it's a major chance for a coming out party. I'm just excited to just kind of see what he can do a little bit, frankly, more than anything. And I think just kind of getting that rhythm and getting him involved early could serve some good benefit for Oklahoma down the road. So I'm going to go with Bauer Sharp as my player to watch. Tom, I stole him from you. I tried to avoid what I thought you were going to say. Let's see if you go.
So I'm going to have to pivot now because I was leaning toward Bauer Sharp here. And just to kind of piggyback off of what Josh was saying, like, I'm like, not just Bauer Sharp, I want to see how they use that tight end position. I don't think that, they're going to empty the playbook by any means. I think they're going to keep things pretty vanilla early on here. Don't want to put too much on film before, the competition ramps up a little bit. But I am interested to see how he does and how they kind of start utilizing that position, because I do think it's going to be a lot different from what we saw with Jeff Levy as offense coordinator.
Sure.
But since you guys both picked someone on offense, I will go ahead and do someone on defense.
There you go.
And I'm going to go with Jaden Jackson.
That's what I thought you were going to take.
Yeah.
He was my backup pick, but true freshman, defensive lineman, first to start a season opener for Oklahoma since Tommy Harris in 2001, just the fourth in program history. The other two were Marcus Lowe in 1987 and Corey Collins in 1997. So very rare air here for Jaden Jackson.
Sure.
I've got a feature up on the site this morning that I hope you guys read. Just a really impressive young man. Obviously has put in the work to kind of earn this nod. And even just when we were talking to him earlier this week, he said he feels like in his eyes he hasn't earned anything yet. He still has to go out there and prove it and show that he can do this every day, because he feels like they have a very talented defensive line group. But for a true freshman, and not just that he's a true freshman, but just the context of everything. I mean, he came in with David Stone, who was, the highest rated player in the class, who was his teammate at IMG. So like he was almost flying sort of under the radar just from his own school in that sense. So to come in and be as impressive as he has been, I want to see how that looks on the field, because everything we've heard about this kid is just so impressive so far. And we're finally going to get to see him do it in a game.
100%. That's actually he was my pick. And then I stayed clear of him to give you the honor. Then I had taken your pick anyway. James, you said you had some bonus ones you wanted to throw in.
I mean, I was going to throw in Jaden Jackson as well, just in case Tom didn't get to him. But obviously that's a good one. But Branson Hickman at center, I mean, running that offensive line. We talked about the offensive line this whole offseason. How well is he going to, navigate that unit? How well is he going to do that? Because, I mean, we know about his talent. We know about his skill set. We've heard a lot of different things, even from, players that played against him, like Dominic Williams has spoken really highly of Branson Hickman. So really want to see what he does. So that center quarterback, duo, I guess, is what I'm really paying attention to
Yeah.
when it comes to the offensive side of the ball in this first game.
Yeah, I mean, you could put the whole offensive line at this point just because that's been such a question mark. I will throw one honorable mention in there because I think we're going to see a decent amount of him, especially in this first game. Taylor Tatum. I would not be surprised at all if he ends up being the leading rusher, just because I think this game is going to get out of hand pretty quick, and they're going to empty the depth chart basically, and I think he's going to get his opportunities.
Javonte needs his carries, man. Let's get him. He didn't get him in the spring.
He has making up time to make up.
No, but I would not be surprised if Taylor Tatum, led them in rushing this game just because of circumstances of the scoreboard and stuff like that. But I mean, it's going to be his first time out there in Oklahoma uniform because he wasn't here in the spring. So I'm sure a lot of others are eager to see him too.
100%. I throw Michael Hawkins in there too, just because debut like that. I'm also curious. I kind of mentioned this the other day. I think I did, but just does he have a package like Arnold did last year? Even earlier in the game, they worked Arnold in. Definitely different OC, but I'm kind of curious on that too. So we might get a little taste of that on Friday. All right, let's go ahead and pick the game. I guess I'll go ahead and get it started here for score prediction. Obviously, I think Oklahoma's going to win by a lot. They're 42.5-point favorites. Like I said, Temple was picked last in the preseason poll. They have one guy on the preseason All-AAC team. It was a second-team offensive lineman. I got his name here, Luke Watson. He's going to play a guard for them, left guard. Stan Drayton, their head coach, is on the hot seat. I mean, it's kind of everything you kind of have set up for a team that's not expected to have a big year. So I'm going to take Oklahoma by a big number. I'm going to go 59-7 is going to be my final score. Wouldn't shock me if they shut them out. I think defense is going to dominate. I kind of give them a touchdown just because it's hard to predict a shutout, garbage time or just any crazy thing happens up there in the end zone. But I think Oklahoma's going to pretty thoroughly dominate this game. Not quite to the level of last year's 73-0, but it'll be pretty convincing. I think Oklahoma cruises, to say the least, on Friday.
You mentioned last year, and that was the big thing before, like when we put our score predictions before that game. We're like, there is a chance they could score in garbage time and things like that. But they all talked about they have so much pride in each other, the competitive depth. They were like, nobody wanted them to score. We were not going to allow that to happen, which kind of altered my decision this time. I'm going 56-3. I think there could be a field goal there, but I don't think they're going to get in the end zone just because I think they're going to have that type of pride once again. This OU defense. The Owls defense, they have 9 new starters. I think I read somewhere on our site. They have 9 new starters coming in. So like that's difficult in itself when you have going against an Oklahoma offense like this is expected to be a high caliber offense. I mean, there's going to be some points scored. It could be even higher than 56, like I'm saying. It could be, like Arkansas State last year. It could be the same thing, like one of those type of scores. But yeah, so I mean, I think they'll get a field goal, but that'll be the most they'll get against especially this OU defense.
Yeah, I mean, Oklahoma can name its score in this game. Whatever it wants to put up, I think they'll be able to. I actually think they're going to score a little bit more than you guys. I got them at 66-10. I think
10. Oh, okay, that's big.
I think there's room for a late touchdown. I wouldn't be surprised if Temple got a field goal. I don't want to say early on, but second, third quarter type situation. But yeah, like I said, Oklahoma can name a score in this game. Temple is the third worst team in ESPN's SP Plus. Out of 132, 134 teams, they are the third worst coming into the season. They've gone 3-9 each of the last 2 years. Like you said, Stan Drayton not in great position right now. Oklahoma's going to have an overwhelming talent advantage here, and again, it's name your score, take care of business, get home healthy.
100%, and you have the extra day going into the next game because of the Friday night kick. Should be pretty sound for the Sooners. We're all in agreement there. All right, we are going to be at the stadium on Friday night. Be sure to keep up with the coverage on Sooners Illustrated all day. There's already a ton of coverage there. More to come today, and obviously going into tomorrow. We'll all be at the stadium, and then keep an eye out for our instant reaction on the field after the game tomorrow night, live from Norman. The season is here. Feels good. That's it for now. For Tom Green, James E. Jackson, I'm Josh Callaway. We'll see you guys tomorrow night at the stadium as Oklahoma opens up the 2024 season against Temple.
See you.